Takes two to tango, but a threesome to be something. And that something is the Three Body Narrative Podcast with your hosts, Pradyum, Aaron, and Naeem. And we are here to discuss everything pop culture movies, TV shows, games, you name it. And for today's episode, we are talking about the Oscar nominated animated feature, Zootopia 2. When I did that, it's only one. Zootopia 2. Yeah. So, what is the movie all about? Well, it follows Judy Hopps and Nick Wilde as they take on a new case involving a mysterious reptile that disrupts the mammal only city. While investigating, they uncover deeper secrets about Zootopia or Zootropolis and must overcome tensions in their partnership to solve the mystery and protect their city. So, before we get to diving into this movie and discussing it in greater detail, we start with our ratings as always. So, I guess, Aaron, you're going to take it first.
Yep.
Cool.
To get started, I think this was a pretty decent movie. I mean, I think it was an easy watch in terms of animation. It was quite nice. The colors and stuff quite popped out quite well, and I think there were some nice, interesting characters. It was a good mix of emotion as well as humor in the movie, and so I thought it was quite a nice movie. I think in terms of rating, I'd give it a 3. uh, yeah, I don't think it was anything that like where the story was out of this world or where like you were like, oh, what's gonna happen next or something that kept you on the edge of your seat. But yeah, a good watch overall.
Right? Okay. I echo most of the thoughts. I'm going to give this a 3.5, although I could easily give it a 4. I think for me, going into this, my worry was how good would a sequel be, right? Like, especially because I really liked the first one. So I was a little apprehensive of how the second one was going to do. And I didn't hear much of a hype around it, especially after it launched. So I don't like, I only came to know about it after it got nominated for an Oscar, which is surprising. But with that being said, I think I really liked it. I like that it was simple. It didn't try to do something extraordinary and fail at doing that, right? I love the cameos, the casting. I love the voice animations. Love some of the characters. It was a fun ride throughout. And yeah, I mean, maybe I think I don't know if I had any sort of negatives for the movie. Maybe I think there were points where it had a bit of an abrupt pacing, especially in the middle, maybe. But apart from that, I think overall it was quite nice. Given that I knew some of the voice actors and how well they were portraying it, it was overall a fun watch. And I think that's about it. I think for me, it quelled any fears that I had that this movie was going to be, you know, a bad sequel per se. So yeah, I kind of liked it. I like the concepts as well that they introduced, especially with the different sort of towns or states, however you want to call it. So I really loved that. And like I agree with you. I think the colors popped. I think each one had a very unique environment. So Marsh
Yeah.
Market, Tundra Town, each one had this very like distinct color palette and um, you know, environment that really shone throughout. I think yeah. So overall, I think that's my rating, 3.5.
Yeah.
He's smiling.
Okay. Um, I really like this movie.
Surprise.
Yeah. So yeah. I hadn't watched Zootopia or Zootropolis at all until we decided to kind of review this, and then I had to kind of get through 2 movies in the span of like.
Well, we did tell you no, you didn't have to later on, but
Yeah, but I kind of felt like so I asked my nieces, and they said that it would be better if I kind of watched the first one. It'd be a lot more fun that way. Um, In fact, they kind of, when Zootopia came out, asked me to come along with them to watch this, but I hadn't watched the first one and I didn't get the hype for the second at the time, which like having watched it now, I'm like, damn, it would have been a good watch had I actually gone along with them, kind of a thing. But nonetheless, so
If only I
love
had
the,
been a good uncle.
yeah. With regards to the chemistry, I really like the chemistry between the two characters, and kind of like having watched it back to back, it kind of, you can kind of see that trajectory in terms of where they are in the first movie and how that's kind of evolving in the second. And that's pretty nice to see. I love the complexities of how like in, like, there are fairy tale endings that you kind of used to watch back in the day, where it's like everything is haha nice and stuff, like that's where we leave people and that's where how things are supposed to be, kind of a thing. And now it's like more um complex in terms of like, yes, you see them in a good place, but that doesn't necessarily mean that it's always going to remain that way. Something that you kind of have to constantly work on. And for me, the theme of this movie was also along those lines. Like something is established clear in the first one, where it's very focused on stereotyping, how you're expected to be a certain someone or a certain like do certain things, and not anything outside of it. You're boxed into things, kind of a thing. But the first movie is focused on kind of breaking those expectations, going against all of that, and proving that you're more than what people or society expects you to be, kind of a thing. Um, but the more complex thing in this is that, or the thing what I really liked about that is, having broken that in the first part, it wasn't like it was a quick fix. Like, yes, it's done and dusted, kind of a thing. You do still see that existing in a certain way. It's more like um, it's like peace in certain ways. Like, it's not something that can be achieved in total. You kind of have to constantly work at it to kind of maintain that, right? And that means it's not always being fair to one side or the other. It's like trying to maintain a good balance, and that's exactly what I saw in this movie, where with all the different um, states or towns that you see, everything uh, is it's kind of hard to be fair to everyone in all of that. But it's about finding the right balance to maintain the peace or harmony around that, and that's the focus, I think, of the movie. Because you kind of, like, even though you think a lot of these don't exist anymore in society, there's still that, it's the bias, I think. It's like, even though you want to think a certain way, the immediate reflex or immediate thought that pops into your head is like, oh no, it's this is probably it, kind of a thing. And I think that's the most obvious thing with the snake initially, like when the snake is there. And like, I'm constantly telling myself that, no, like the movie's trying to throw me off, this guy is probably not a bad guy or something like that. And then when he tries to be honest with her, and he says, I'm trying to, then I'm second guessing myself. I'm like, it's too early on to have this like
Yeah.
really down this conversation. So is it that this person is trying to coax her into thinking that he's a good guy and things like that? So that's the part that kind of threw me off, and I like that about the movie. um all in all, yeah. So it's like very simplistic things. Like, as a kid, if you're watching this, you're gonna enjoy it a lot. But as an adult as well, if you're like watching, and that's what I like about animation these days, to a lot of the extent, whether that be animes or even in Disney movies. Um, the more you kind of read into it or watch these as adults, the more mature storylines you kind of see in those. And so I guess from a rating perspective, I would give this a 4 out of 5. Yeah. And only because I think the first movie is, this is as almost as good as the first, but just not from a perspective of that first time watching it, kind of a thing.
Yeah.
Even though I think I saw the twist coming in the first movie clearly, like
Yeah.
it was clear as daylight to me on who the perpetrator was. It was a little more confusing in this initially. Then it was quite, I think, obvious from that perspective. But yeah, I had a good time with this movie, and I'd give it a 4 out of 5 for sure.
Okay. No, so talking about, since you watched both movies, I want to get Aaron's perspective, or I don't know how to play this because obviously Aaron did not watch and you hadn't watched the first movie, right? Uh, do you, okay, because Naeem, you watched it recently. Do you think there is merit to having watched the first one and then watching the second one? Or what is something that maybe you think Aaron may have missed out on by not watching the first one?
So I think it's more in terms of a deep dive of the whole symbolic nature of things that are in there. Like I mentioned, like the chemistry is something that you can kind of gauge from the short, brief throwbacks that they have at the beginning of the movie, which kind of defines um, what kind of relationship the two characters, the main characters, kind of share. But what you don't kind of delve into is the whole prey and the what is the this thing,
Predator?
Predator and prey.
predator, yeah, predator and prey concept that you have. Wow. I just watched the movie like probably a back-to-back session of like 8 hours roughly, like slept for a bit and then woke up and watched
Oh,
the
okay, okay. I was like, the movie's not 4 hours each. I was like,
no, I watched it. I watched the first one and I stopped around I think 3 a.m. Then I slept until like 7:30, 8 o'clock. Yeah, 7:30 ish. And then I watched the second part. So
okay.
whatever. Yeah. So I think that's the main concept of it. Like you you miss out on the concept of the first one in terms of how the society is built in itself. Um, and perhaps that is something that you don't kind of see translating into like this is supposed to be a better version of what the society was in that, but it's like while they've achieved something, it's not completely there yet.
Yeah.
There's like you still have to put in a lot of work to maintain because it's immediate. It's like something goes wrong and you go back to the old thing of no, that person is probably the wrong the perpetrator or whatever it is in this case, because it's in their what is it, DNA.
DNA. Yeah.
Or
Okay, so Aaron,
yeah.
having watched the second one, is it good enough for you to go back and watch the first one? Did you feel like you missed out on anything watching?
I don't think I missed out on anything from the first one, but maybe I think, again, not that I felt like I didn't understand it, but it would be like maybe you would get a better insight as to what they went through in terms of things together in terms of the first movie, because you already see the dynamic between the two, where initially like they get on really well with each other. You see the two distinct characters and how they kind of do things differently, so you get that in the second movie. But in the first one, maybe it would have been like maybe a little bit of a backstory to the second one, where you kind of understand how things started, like how the contrasting characteristics, if they do in the first movie, kind of contradict each other or clash with each other, how they kind of get into sync and stuff like that way. So maybe that's the only thing that would probably uh be something that you kind of get a better idea about. But I don't think I missed anything, and I think as a standalone movie, the second one did well in itself to kind of explain everything. So that was good. Whether it was good enough to watch the first one, I think so. In terms of just out of curiosity to see what happened or what their story was, probably yes. I don't think in terms of like how good the story was or how good the animation was, like I have to say, oh, I have to watch the movie. It's more curiosity as into how did they get here, kind of
Yeah.
might actually get me to watch the first one.
Yeah, I think animation wise it was fine. I think this movie is built on the two lead
Yeah.
animated characters, right? Like the relationship between them carries the entire movie, whether it be the first or the second. And I I don't know whether I want to go first to the twist or I want to talk about like the voice acting. Which one do you guys want to do first?
I think we can go with the voice acting. And then
Yeah.
move to the...
Yeah. So I mean, for me, like I don't know, maybe it's just like maybe he's having this sort of purple patch period, but Jason Bateman's really killing it right now. Whether it be in real, like in live action TV shows or in this, I mean, it was Black Rabbit, Ozark, then there's this new thing called
Well,
yeah.
yeah. To be honest, I've always liked him as an actor. So for me to say like, yeah, he's having a purple patch, I feel like I'm being a little bit unfair because I always expected him to do well, and so for me, it's like probably this was his time to kind of uh to get his flowers, and so yeah, I mean, I'm really happy that he's doing well. And yeah, I think in terms of his voice acting for this particular movie, I think uh I mean, you have a lot of actors that do this well, and so uh, to draw any comparisons would be a little bit odd. But I feel like, in terms of being able to capture the emotions and stuff when it's just a voice and you can't put a face to it, I mean, apart from the animated face, but I felt like he did a good job. I think even in the different situations, the way you kind of there's no monotone in the way he speaks, and so he captures those emotions quite well.
Yeah, I love the sass bit, and I actually can see the mannerisms. I can imagine even if Jason Bateman was in a studio, like he would show the same kind of emotion because it reminds me of like an Arrested Development character where he does do something stupid and then like just immediately be like, oh shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes, I mean I don't know much about, is it Jennifer Goodwin? I don't know how you pronounce it, but so
I think so.
yeah. So I have no clue, but some of the other voice acting was awesome. Good to see my boy Short Round back in action as Gary the Snake. He was I like the part where he introduces himself and he's like, "So what's your surname?" The Snake.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I also liked Shakira's was it Gazette?
Gazelle.
Gazelle,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
The song was also pretty cool. The zoo
Zoo. Ooh. Yeah. 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 It's a pretty fun thing. Of course, I love pop, but I mean, it didn't strike me at first. But then, of course, when I paid attention to it, the voice is definitely Andy Samberg. Like no doubt about. And he played it so well. It's like seeing him play that goofy, like Jacob Peralta kind of role, but now more with. And when he has the eventual turn, that was a pretty cool twist in his character, and he played it off quite well.
My favorite character in the movie, in both movies, is Klauser.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I don't know who voiced him, but I love the expressions that I don't know what he's supposed to do, but whatever cat family he belongs to is pretty awesome. And especially when he kind of is forced into moving away from his desk and into like the backdrops next to some boiler or something. Like his emotions are next level to watch. Like you feel really sad or bad for the guy, kind of a
Yeah.
thing. So
But in the second one, he doesn't have too much of a role. Per se.
yeah, that is it. But even like in the bits and pieces,
Yeah.
um,
When he's when he's doing
yeah.
directing traffic is hilarious because that person just goes takes a right completely into the snow and he's like
Yeah.
shit. That's hilarious. Yeah, it's nice to see Idris Elba as Chief Bogo. That scene is hilarious where he gets fanged in the head.
Yeah.
The guy who plays Joe in Family Guy, he's the horse, right? The mayor.
Ah.
Yeah, the one in yeah. So in Family Guy, he plays the guy in the wheelchair. So Patrick Warburton. I don't know what else. He comes in a series of unfortunate events, of course, as the narrator. So yeah, if you've watched that. Yes. So that was pretty fun. The father, which is what's his name? What Linksy is he? He's Milton Linksley.
Milton Mix.
Yeah. Again, an old actor. I don't think you would have seen him in anything. Pretty recognizable face otherwise.
Who was voicing Mr. Big?
Mr. Big?
Mr. Biggs, what is his name? The mafia character.
Oh, yeah, I don't know the tiny little one, no? Yeah. I have no clue who that is. I mean, yeah, I know. Yeah, can't. It's not someone recognizable, at least from my end. I'm sure he must be, but yeah, that was pretty fun though. The fact that
I love those bits and pieces of the throwback to the first movie, especially the same number plate from the first movie that they had
yeah,
on was pretty cool to like, oh wow, they're paying like really close attention to the details. That was really nice to see.
yeah.
Kind of a thing.
The other two Linksleys, do you know who voiced them?
No.
As Vader. So the brother, the other brother is Macaulay Culkin, and the daughter is Brenda Song. So it's pretty cool that they have
Husband and
wife, husband and
as
wife.
brother and sister. Okay.
Yeah, I know. Cat family, everything goes.
Targaryen.
Huh? Targaryen. Yeah.
Targaryens in
Yeah. I mean, yeah, he is blonde, so passes kind of. But yeah, that was there. Who else was there? That was pretty. The reptile that they meet, was it Jesus?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was Danny Trejo. That was fun.
Yeah,
Machete.
yeah.
Yeah. I really liked. I thought Nibbles Maple Stick was gonna get under my skin, but I really enjoyed her role.
Yeah.
But that twist where he injects her right with the with the venom, and she dies. Right, I was like, oh shit, this is a twist. Like, this is a crazy. I mean, obviously she's alive at the end of it, but I was like, shit, they killed her off. It would have been crazy had they stuck to that. I was like, damn, got really dark for a children's movie. But I love the way he's like, oh, should have seen that coming. Bam. So yeah, I think overall some really. I'm trying to think. So you know the sheep with the bikini thing, the one who barbershop one where he gets like the shit. So that's actually Ed Sheeran.
Oh,
it's weird that they get people like this to like voice act for like a second or two, but I guess he wrote the Zoo
He
songs.
wrote the Shakira song, right?
Yeah, so I guess they were like, okay, play this character.
We paid you the money for the song, so now you do this.
Yeah. One of the two hippos, right? One is Stephanie Beatrice, who plays Rosa in Brooklyn Nine-Nine. Yes. The other one plays is by Fez from that 70s show. Yes, that's again. So like really interesting names. The Zebros, right?
Yeah.
Zebros.
Yeah. Hilariously played by Roman Reigns and CM Punk. Imagine they're going through a feud for WrestleMania and they're like, yeah, we're pros right now. So awesome.
They're both named the same. What Gene is it? What was the name?
Yeah.
Gene. Yeah. So the first one who says he's Gene is CM Punk. The other one's like, I'm also named Gene. So yeah, that's what I was like with these kind of animation movies. Right, I love looking at who they've cast, especially like the big budget ones. Obviously, always have some celebrities coming and voicing even minor roles in this.
It's almost like finding an Easter egg in the game because you have so much of detail and stuff that they've kind of hidden in plain sight, which is pretty cool.
Okay, like funnily enough, so there's that part where they go the first car chase, right? with the anteater or whatever that they chase. And then in the news channel, there comes like somebody stuck in a tuba, and then they blow out that character, and that character flies out. Okay, that character was played by The Rock. Can you imagine? I'm like, what the hell? Like, how much budget did you have that you're just like spending it? Because I'm sure they'll cost something or the other. So imagine, like, it could have been done by anybody, but to have like The Rock play.
Yeah, but that's the cool thing, because sometimes it's written in their contract that you have to do certain number of movies in a year for the production house. So like, okay, you've not got a movie. This is what you're doing.
It could be with Rock, especially. He did that Disney movie, right? The one with Emily Blunt, if I'm not wrong. That was a Disney movie.
Jungle Fever thing, long time ago. The Jungle Cruise, or not Jungle Fever.
Yeah, Jungle Cruise, I think. Yeah.
Jungle Fever is isn't that the sad?
Yeah, I was like,
song?
Jungle Fever. I don't remember anything like that.
They got Jungle Fever. Yeah, Jungle Cruise. I guess Moana is Disney, right?
It is.
Is it?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. Okay.
Or is it? No, it won't be DreamWorks. I think it is Disney.
I think it is Disney because it was on the thing over there.
Disney, I also love some of the what I wouldn't say it's callbacks, but it's homages. I don't even think it's that. What would you call those? Easter eggs for other movies? Because obviously when Nick is watching TV, he goes onto Hulu, which has got like movie posters of the mayor acting in different ones, and a lot of them were similar actual movies which have been just changed in terms of the title. So that was pretty cool. You had the maze, right? When Pobbert is running through the maze with trying to find the lighthouse.
Yeah.
Right? That's The Shining. That's where, so that was those are pretty fun elements that they can do in an animated movie. I think if you did that in a live action, you'd be like, what the fuck's happening?
There were throwbacks to multiple this thing, right? There was also the thing where they go past this kitchen and there's a lion chef or something, and his hat comes off, and there's someone else.
The mouse.
Yeah. Of course, with the mafia, that's Godfather, right?
Yeah.
That was there even in the first one.
Yeah.
Oh, I love those candies though. When I saw that, I was like, oh shit, I remember those the ring ones that you used to have. Candy Rock ones. So that was there. Even in the prison scene also, I think. Those were fun ones. Okay, so let's talk about the twist. So, Naeem, you mentioned about the first twist, which was the snake. I mean, we all thought that the snake was eventually the bad guy, because that's
initially I didn't think the snake was a bad guy. Like when he's under the hood and trying to steal or something, I thought,
okay,
maybe there's something like bigger at play here or something. But then when he immediately tries in that first scene that they're having the first conversation, he's trying to give out his actual true story, which is the reality. I was like, too early to kind of reveal this thing. I think he's trying to meddle with her head, kind of a thing, right? It did seem in that moment, kind of a thing. And then
that's like immediately, like, that was the truth, because immediately Milton grabs the book and says, kill him, like, we'll arrest him.
But in that scene, when I'm seeing it, I was thrown off. Like, I was like, okay, no, I think this snake they might be actually like putting it in your face that this guy is really the bad guy, kind of a thing. But they initially wanted you to think he's not a bad guy, so that later on they can reveal him to be the bad guy, kind of a thing. So, but then that's kind of thrown away. But the moment I saw him initially, I was like,
really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. He was, I don't know, it looked like he was the dividing factor between the two, kind of a thing. Already a jealousy aspect. And a little bit of confusion came about when I saw him with the snake. I was like, okay, probably he's trying to help, kind of a thing. But then later on, I was like, no, something feels off.
Okay.
But I didn't realize the obvious direction that they were going for. I was thinking more along the lines of he wants to overthrow everyone and kind of
Okay.
run the empire, as opposed to being like redeem himself as this someone who's worthy of something, kind of thing. I was more thinking of like he wants to screw them all over and like take control of the thing. So yeah, from that aspect, I was kind of surprised. But I think I did see Pobert uh, once that whole confusion was subsided. So initial bit Robert, and then middle confusion with the snake and him being partnered and stuff like that. And then I was like, yeah, Robert. Yeah, that. With these movies, like even in this first one, I was immediately like, okay, I think this is the
Huh.
because I
First,
thought it was quite obvious
first one,
in
yeah,
the
was pretty much there or there, but that you kind of knew it was going to be
yeah.
her. Yeah, the second one. So I sometimes get this movie earlier. I used to get this movie mixed up with the Bad Guys movie because that also
Mhm.
had animals, right?
Yeah.
And so in that, I thought the snake was like the bad guy, like in the sense the villain. He was trying to steal it and all of that. And I thought when he took Milton initially, right? I was like, both of them are working in cahoots to steal that book. Like it's looking like he's kidnapping him, but they're going to work together. But I was pleasantly surprised that they immediately, you know, killed that idea off and made the snake the good guy and Milton the bad guy. I did not see the Pobert thing happen because I mean, I always thought Andy Samberg was perfect as the goofball side character, the friend who would just help them, right? And given that it's animation, I didn't expect something devious to be there. I thought, okay, it's just straightforward. He's the good guy. He'll help, and then he'll show the family that okay, that this is the way forward, or something like that, or he'll help take down his family, like you said, right? Something like that. But the twist was quite fun, and it was a nice, like I said, it's nice to see Andy Samberg play a sort of villainous role, even though it's still slightly pathetic given that he's kind of again it's still like Peralta trying to find that father figure and trying to fit into something that he doesn't belong to, I guess. So
Oh,
yeah.
I'm never thinking like, for me. I only realized it's Andy Samberg when once the credits rolled. To be honest,
Oh,
I'm never thinking along the lines of, oh, it's this actor, so I don't think he
but
can.
you didn't. No, but did you not hear the from the voice? So you didn't. It's not something
No,
that you
I don't
recognize.
think I was paying it too much attention to who sounds like. For me, it's in my head. The when I kind of watch the animated movies, it's more like it's the voice of the character in itself. I don't try to see the people behind that voice until like the movie's over, and then I'm
Hmm.
like focusing. I think otherwise I'm pretty involved in like this is the voice of the lion, kind of a thing. Like that's how
Yeah.
Simba sounds. That's how Mufasa sounds, kind of a thing. As opposed to
Huh.
like, oh, no, that's Idris Elba in that, kind of a thing. Which
Yeah,
is
so
why
I
like
I do that only for like the cameos. I wait for till the end, but it was in between. It's I mean, some of them are just so like are so instantly recognizable, right? Like
for
uh
for me,
Gary.
most of my voice actor knowledge comes when like from my conversations with you, because you'll bring it up and be like, oh, it's this guy, and you'll name the person, and I might have seen that person in somewhere else, but I still can't place of who that person is until you reference, oh, it's this character from this show. Then I'm like, okay,
Yeah, yeah,
cool, that
yeah.
makes sense. Yeah.
No, that's why I kept saying like character names because I know if I just say actor names, even sometimes I don't know what the actors are. I also sometimes just know them from past roles. So yeah. Aaron, did you see the twist coming, or what was your take on
The snake one, yeah, I kind of figured because the whole movie was based on the pretense like things are not as they seem, and so they'll try to make it feel like the snake has to be the devious one, and then turns out no. Pervert one didn't. I mean, I won't say I expected it. It kind of felt a little bit weird that it was him that was the guy riding the bike. So that was like, that's a bit off. But when it eventually happened, I was like, okay. Didn't really think that was how it was going to play out. But yeah, I think that one kind of probably threw me off more than the snake being the good guy, to be honest.
But by the way, he does do something stupid when the twist happens. So if you notice, he injects hops with the fanged device, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Only thing he forgot to realize, or he didn't realize, is that Gary's only got one fang, so it can't be a two-fanged bite on
Mm.
Judy Hopps.
Yeah.
So that shows how stupid again Poppert is. Because at the end of the day, if someone looks at it and sees two fanged and sees Gary with just that one tooth, there's like, oh yeah, ain't happening.
Yeah.
I mean, you could easily say when he fanged her, one fell off somewhere or something.
But they had the one on Idris's head, right? I mean,
No, it was not on her head, right? They caught the picture with Hobbs having it in her hand, right?
Oh yeah. But did she not leave it there? I thought it.
That I can't remember, to be
Uh,
honest. But I know it was not on his head because she was like just as if she
yeah.
stabbed him. So
Yeah. Correct.
uh,
Yes, that was the
uh,
All together. Yeah, the movie was crazy. I like the bits and pieces of the movie, especially where it's like the book is there, but it requires a certain species of a snake. It's not like any snake can read it. It has to be like a
pit viper.
pit viper. And that whole sequence of the eyes going red and him reading that was pretty cool to see how he's mapping it out and stuff like that. It was pretty
and
nice.
him I mean, you talk about watching this as an adult and noticing certain mature themes. The fact of the tundra town taking over that one particular area which was meant for reptiles, very reminiscent of um, certain geopolitical history.
That was actually I felt like that was like some strong themes or strong references in there in terms of that, generally in terms of how, I don't know, like I mean like more and more of certain aspects of the state were being um like it was like plans were in place to not just stop there. It's like, so
Yeah.
they do mention, right? Like every time certain thing happens, there is an expansion of certain things.
So Tundra Town was going to take over the Marsh market as well,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
So yeah, it is a sort of expansion plan of sorts, and eventually taking over. I love Marsh Market. I love the sea lion thing where the sea
Yeah.
lion issue that they make, and the creature, the big walrus type creature, seemed very like anime out of a Studio Ghibli kind of movie, because even that they have that big mustache and the big eyes, so very anime type. The whole hip hop hip hop 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 hop.
Mm.
And then when he hears that it's their anniversary, he puts the lights on. So pretty. Uh, what are the odds, or what are the bets that the the red line tube journey becomes a water ride in Disney World? Because that looked insanely fun, though.
Yeah, that was pretty awesome. Crazy fun, like in the way it was going about until they make the swift exit midway through. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, I don't know how they would have survived otherwise. Like, she was definitely fainting.
I felt sad about the dismantling of the lodge at the
Yeah.
top. Yeah, it was kind of sad, like because it had been there for quite some time, and then it was like brought down. And I love those things of how they've put all of it together, like the mystery behind what's happened and like piecing it all together, kind of thing. That was pretty cool to see. Like I would love to, how back in the day Disney used to make games out of these things. It'd be fun to have this as one of those movies. Uh,
Yeah.
I don't know guys ever played Sly Cooper or not, but like along those lines, Sly Cooper the game in PlayStation.
Not that yeah. When was this? PS2.
I mean, I played it for the first time on PS2.
Okay.
Or 2 or 3. I don't know. 3
Yeah.
for sure, but I don't
I
know
mean,
if that was.
I used to love playing like Finding Nemo, Incredibles on the PlayStation, the second PS2, I think that was. So I like some of those Disney games were awesome fun. Yeah, you could have this. I think here as well, possible. Maybe make it like a detective mystery sort of thing.
Exactly, yeah. They're pretty cool. It
Because
had the.
it could be that, we do know that in that prison break he releases 200 odd prisoners, so a game could just be that they're solving cases, and that's the game. You try and put as many prisoners back behind bars.
So there is this. I don't know if you again like. I get. I. You guys will probably laugh this off in terms of the reference that I'm going for, but there's this Bollywood movie.
Yeah, I knew when the moment you said that you're gonna laugh it off, I was like, oh, he's going somewhere very
Yeah,
obscure.
but I think it's called Mahara, if I'm not wrong. It's got Sunil Shetty and Akshay Kumar, I think, in it. And there's Nasiruddin Shah, who plays like this main uh, state person or something, someone of importance in the power they hold, kind of a thing, and how they perceive it to be on the side of a certain person, whereas they kind of are not who they actually are in that case. And in this, it felt like the initial bit where the snake is framed. It
Yeah.
felt more this thing where the snake is Sunil Shetty being framed for a murder that was committed by Nasiruddin's character, which was the Linksley, the original grandfather in this case. And the eventual cop being Akshay Kumar's character being Hop. Uh, like that's the parallel.
Interesting. Wow.
Like, yeah.
That's what happens when you watch it
Yeah.
at like 7:30 in the morning, or like at whatever god second time you watch it. It's like this is where the mind goes.
But
Wow.
also, like in terms of what we briefly touched upon, I think one major part of this was like how the politicians, or in this case, the people running the town, were um, like after achieving the initial society goals of like doing away with stereotyping and all of that stuff, how there was too much control in terms of the narratives that the higher ups had, and they could easily kind of mold it for their own benefit, kind of a thing. And that was like good to see from a perspective of how much control, like there are some really good people in there in the force, but they're kind of bending down to the requirements that are set in by the system that is in place, right?
Yeah.
And that was nice to see, kind of a thing from a.
I was about to say something very scandalous, but yes. I was afraid I was going to relate it to something that we see in real life, but that being said, the fact that the political powers that we are, I would say, under the or are being manipulated or are being used by certain other figures, or let's call them like
Was in the shadows.
yeah, no, in the shadows, or even like just very very rich powerful businessmen of sorts, right?
Yeah,
And they can get away with anything that they want to because
exactly.
they
They
have
put
that.
you
So
in
yeah,
the place of power to begin with, right?
yeah. So exactly with what's his name, Mayor Wind. What is his name?
Windmare? Windhair? What?
No, what?
Yeah. He was dance something, right? There was a dance in his name. Wasn't there?
Wind dance, dance window, wind dancer.
I don't know.
What is it called? Mayor, What is? Yeah, Brian Wind dancer. Yeah, Mayor Wind dancer. Yeah. That was pretty. Yeah, it was interesting to see how his character. He's again media personality became male, right?
Mm.
And yeah,
It almost gave me David Hasselhoff vibes. I
Yeah.
wondered why
Actually,
they couldn't
yeah.
get him to act it.
oh yeah, shit, that's so true. Yeah, I love the part where after Chief Pogo gets bitten by Gary, he's like, Chief Pogo is dead. And that's a statement I don't.
That- yeah.
But I will have to soon.
that-
I loved his role, man. He's so good in it. But yeah, even the part where Pobert comes and says that I have the book and I have the location, and he's just there drinking tea, like listening to all of this. Oh, it's
Yeah.
just it's so much fun. Yeah, I mean, I can, that's the best thing about these animation features, right? You can do certain like kooky, crazy things that you can't do in real life, and it works out so well.
Yeah.
Because can you imagine like David Hasselhoff or someone being this actual person in live action and then having to act like this? You'll feel like shit. This is not even worth zero.
These directors, they're directors and the story writers. Are they like from states or just from elsewhere?
I think these were from our Americans. I think,
Okay.
yeah. But
It's the
yeah,
same one who directed the first one as well, right? They're the same people.
yeah. But I mean, like I said, the entire movie. Okay, before that, but the weather walls, right? Crazy feature. What a. I mean, there's something that even
What an
I guess Dubai was trying to do, which is I remember they were trying to sort of have weather systems in place in certain areas to make it sure that it rains during certain periods of time and all of that. Not through the what is that cloud seeding method, but I think this was some time ago that they, at least for the islands or something, they wanted to have like this sort of ecosystem where it could have
really.
different. Yeah. There was some plan, I guess. Also, I don't know how true this is. I mean, we're living
The
also in a
only
world where
thing I know of is the thing to regulate the walkways in terms of having air conditioned
Mm,
pillars of sorts, in the sense that when you're walking out, you still feel not as hot. I think that's also in place in certain places in Abu Dhabi, if I'm not wrong.
yeah.
I could, uh, but they were definitely like looking at it from a perspective of people still being able to walk around during peak summers. But what you mentioned, I'm not quite sure.
This
I
was
don't know if
I'm
that
I'm
was a
talking
plan
like a while ago. It's not even, I think, even before COVID. So again, these things obviously are spoken about, and how realistic it is very difficult, right? Like, and so many things have changed since then. So you never know. But I really love the concept of, because different animals have different.
But I think there is a place where it rains here in terms of um
Isn't
place
there that
called
isn't there
River
like
Town.
yeah, like a
It's like one
walk.
of those islands or something, I think, where uh there's certain periods where it rains or something like that. It's
uh,
not got anything to do with actual weather. I think maybe it's like sort of a sprinkler system or something in place. I don't know exactly,
it's an
but I think
island. I thought, isn't there like some lane or something in some place where they have that? I don't remember. I don't know if it's an
Mm,
it's one of those maybe in one of those world islands that opened up and it's got like those
Mm.
fancy hotels or some resorts or
yeah,
something.
yeah. There is something like that.
I
Okay.
think it's along those lines because it's
Oh,
I had it initially confused with the what is it, parks and resorts thing where they have the riverside thing or something, but
Mm.
I don't think it's that. It's like I'm pretty sure
No,
it's
yeah, I think it's one of those islands on the world or something like that.
on
Yeah.
the world. Yeah.
okay. But I mean, crazy concept and idea, right? Like to have and uh, to obviously it's a utopian society to have something which caters to everybody and everything. Yeah. So, but crazy concept. Love the fact that it could easily have like gotten over to the other side, but it's quite well maintained that way.
Yeah.
But how
Very
much of
fun to
snow?
see.
How much of snow was actually required in order to cover the entire town of that reptile town? Because the lighthouse is essentially like now underground.
But then this is like over years, right? This is like now when the grandmother of Gary's had written the book.
But it's not
And
buried under snow per se, right? It's not like all of it is snow. It's like there is a roof on top of which there is like a pile of snow, and then it's like a buried island, like a
no,
buried
but
world.
then the entire lighthouse was under snow, right? Lighthouse.
The lighthouse was, but once they enter the lighthouse and go, everything is still like it's frozen. Like the ceiling is frozen, but underneath all of that, it's not like because otherwise it should have been like you get out of the
But
lighthouse and
Yeah, I
snow
didn't
still-
understand that concept really well, because I was like, the lighthouse was covered right to the top, but then the snake ancestral home was
no,
accessible. So I was like,
but in the sense, but when they do talk about what had
No, because-
happened,
okay, so what I understood of that is he made a false roof of sorts, like based out of ice or whatever it is, frozen. On top of that, the snow was piled, which is where it's like. So if this is the light tower, they had like a this is the light tower, and this is like the level at which the village is, the town,
Yeah.
whatever the town. So what he's done is he's built a wall somewhere, like a ceiling of sorts, false ceiling of sorts here, on top of which the snow has uh, piled over time or whatever, and covered up to the point wherever you see it. But underneath it, it's still the town exists as it did, which is kind of weird. But then again, like
but
so
I
guess
don't think. But I thought
well.
so when they were doing the narration or the flashback of what happened to the great grandmother or whatever, right? Is that over a period of time you see the snake get cold and get icy and get snowy. So I don't think, and also when Nibbles looks up, she sees the one long sock which is frozen, and if it's got an ice thing on top, right, then that can't get frozen, right? So my case is that obviously they turn on the electricity for the lighthouse to come on, and I guess that turns up, I think, some partial heating down, I suppose, and kind of.
But then
I don't. Yeah,
that is
I don't get that point, because when the time they go there, it looks like everything is, like you said, is everything's intact, but there are some pieces which is, I mean, that why is the one sock frozen up there? Right, it is hanging on that clothesline. Is it frozen, or is it just the shedding of the?
frozen is fine. Then it's just that it's gotten cold. The fact snow would be different.
Yeah, I guess so.
It's
I
not going to
don't.
be exact.
Yeah.
Like the reason why for me it still seems preserved is because it's cold. Otherwise, you would see like life growing out, right? Like you would see plants and stuff like that, but or dust and things like that. You don't see any of that because of the temperatures that it's preserved in, or at least that's my thought process. I'm not great in science whatsoever, so I get that whole process. Forgive me if I'm sounding stupid, but from what I understood is the cold nature of things, like the frozen ceiling or whatever, keeps everything underneath it within a certain temperature where everything is maintained as is was back in that day. But the snow that gathers from actual temperatures or whatever is happening above this ceiling. So what I feel is like the underneath that ceiling, it's like a controlled climatic system that is in place. Why that is the case? Like, why is it?
Yeah.
Why did he want to maintain it like that? I'm not quite sure.
I guess you want to hide that town so that it is wiped out from existence. I think that's the only reason why they wanted to bury it. But why that was the way that they chose to do it, I have no clue. I think, like I said, they
Maybe
could
it
have
was
just
a faster way. Like you don't need
rather
that
than
much snow to cover it up, I guess.
yeah, yeah. So fair. Okay. Yeah, I guess that's the uh anything else that we have left to discuss? Any part of this? I like I said, I like the different part. I like when Popper takes us to his tent in the sort of desert like
Yeah.
uh environment, which reminded me slightly of Agrabah and Aladdin.
Hmm.
So that was
You
pretty
One
fun.
of
almost felt like Arabian Nights would start playing again.
By the way,
Well,
the songs like whenever the snake came, there wasn't like there was a hint of some sort of Arabic flute playing or something that you could hear in the sort of score. So
Hmm.
yeah, more. I mean, that would have been a good throwback or callback if they did start playing the tune to Arabian Nights. Yeah.
Yeah.
one of my favorite characters from the first movie also made a brief appearance in this movie, Flash. Like I absolutely love this scene.
Uh,
You have Flash in the first one,
yeah.
the DMV scene that's there. You don't see too much of that in this one, but even for the brief period that he's there, um, like, are you sure this is the fastest way to get, like, the sloth is the fastest way to get where we need to go? Yeah, that was pretty cool to see, kind of a thing. But I don't think it matches the level of awesomeness that you have in
Oh,
the
the first
first.
one. Yeah, yeah. The first one's hilarious.
So damn good, yeah.
But it's
Yeah.
good that we saw him here, the sloth machine. Uh, yeah, the way he was driving was insanely fun.
I also like this thing of, like, bits and pieces. Like the DMV is like, it's like Department of Motor Vehicle or whatever. But like in this, it's like Department of Mammal Vehicle. Like it's so cool to kind of see like how those bits and pieces are changed to better suit this world that they
Yeah.
live in.
Yeah. 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 I think overall, yeah, it was a fun watch. I think obviously this was nominated for an Oscar as well, right? And I think we only saw one of the other competitors, which was Helio. It lost to K-pop Demon Hunters. Um, but yeah, I mean, overall, there haven't been too many animated movies as well, so I can understand why it was Oscar nominated, despite the sort of maybe simplicity in at least the storyline. But it was a fun watch overall. Like I said, I don't think there were so many things that I could nitpick on and be like, oh man, this was boring. Oh man, this was not great. So I guess that way it may not have been, oh my god, this is such a great movie, but at the same time, this was fun watch.
Yeah, especially for a sequel, I don't think it did bad whatsoever. Like I had a good time with the movie for sure. I mean, yeah, like watching the first one, I think it was a very different experience, to the point where I watched a little bit of the first 15-20 minutes in the first movie last night, and then we had guests over, and I was like, I wish like I could just get back to watching it, kind of a thing.
You please go out of my
Yeah,
house, go out.
like, yeah, but I had to like end up waiting for like a good 6 hours before I could get back to the movie or so. So
You should have told, come, we'll do a watch party. You come, we'll watch Zootopia together.
yeah,
Have fun. Yeah. But yeah, at the end, I love the fact that so it's Trudy Cabbage Patch and what was his name? His alias, I think, was something else.
wild something. I know some wild. I don't know what wild, but
His
definitely.
real name is Wild, but yeah. So they obviously they go back after Bellwether to try and
Hmm.
grab her. Oh,
Yeah.
by the way, the koala in the transport office that gives her the tickets, right?
Yeah.
Steve Irwin's son, Robert Irwin.
Oh.
I mean, obviously he's Australian, so get them one of the most famous Aussies on there. So yeah, so that was
Yeah, and he's
pretty.
in and out of the States quite often. He's so many times on Fallon and stuff like that. So, yeah, probably
Nice.
easy access.
Yeah. So that was there, but there is a post-credit scene where
Yeah.
which may lead to a third part. I
I'm
think
pretty sure it will. This
shush.
did well in the box office. Pretty sure third will follow.
Yeah.
But I was wondering, do you see birds in this one? Don't, right?
No. Ooh.
So it's
No.
like first you had the mammals, and then you had the reptiles come in, and now you got the birds.
Birds.
Mm.
I wonder what would it be?
You-
Eagle, hawk?
Until you eventually reach where the humans come in, I suppose.
Oh shit! Damn. Yeah.
And then there's societal damage everywhere. It's like everything just collapsed.
Yeah.
I think that would be a fun thing to do. It's like you get all these different animal kingdom this thing in there, and then there's like actual balance until we step in and like everything starts crumbling down again. Like, shit.
But do humans hear them, or do they still hear only the animal voices?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean that's more like
Which
we've had other animated movies like that, right? Like I think Chicken Run and stuff.
was it? Yeah, yeah, possibly. But no, I'm intrigued to see where this goes, because what would be? I think what vultures are bad. Usually the bad or the villains in the bird kingdom.
I'm guessing.
Eagle, hawk.
Falcon and Stuart Little, right?
Yeah. Oh, shit, that's a movie we have to watch at some point. Yeah, I haven't watched that in a while. But yeah, overall, I mean, I guess my final thoughts are this was probably one of the
There's also
better.
the falcons that kind of can spot a snake like from like afar and then grab onto them or something like that, right? Like,
Those are all raptors, I guess.
Yeah, like
is it?
eagle, hawks. I mean, hawkeyes tend to be the ones that can see. But yeah, hawks, eagles, falcons, vultures. Right. What are the ones in Jungle Book? Were they buzzards? Those two idiots that were there. There were
Yeah, I
Vultures.
two
think so.
vultures or buzzards. Yeah, buzzards
I
are the
thought
ones that eat people or eat the dead people as well.
That's vultures, no?
vultures.
Okay, I thought it was buzzards, but yeah, same. I think they're the same family of sorts. But
Cousins.
no, yeah. Okay. Overall, I can't think of. I'm trying to think of other animated movies which had really good sequels. The only one that comes to mind is Shrek 2, which I think
Lion
surpassed
King.
Lion King 2 more than one.
No,
I don't
not
think.
more than
No, but I don't think even
good.
like. Yeah, but it's not in any way close to the original. This at least was close to it. I think Shrek 2 outperforms Shrek 1.
Donkey.
Okay. Then, well, Kung Fu Panda 2, I don't remember what happens also. Was Kung Fu Panda 2 the one with the peacock?
No,
I
that
think
was 3, no?
no.
Oh, that's 3. Who's
I
second?
don't
The
know. Wait.
ox. No.
Oh, no, wait.
No, it is.
The first one was Tai
Okay, I
Fung,
think
the snow leopard. Then
I thought it was the peacock, which was Gary Oldman, and then third becomes the ox or the yak or whatever, and then the fourth is something.
then maybe the peacock is the second one. Yeah, probably.
So that was also okay. I can't think of. Yeah, I'm trying to think, but there aren't too many where I'm like, oh, the second one is so much better. Oh, maybe Toy Story 2. Yeah, definitely Toy Story 2. But yeah, I'm glad. Honestly, I really liked the first one, so I was a little surprised that there was not much talk about it, and I was like a bit scared that it hadn't done well. But overall, I was pleasantly surprised by how much I actually liked the movie.
I had a good time with the movie.
Yeah, but you two, both of, I mean, you especially you didn't know the first one. You hadn't watched the first one, right? So you just had to watch both.
Mm.
like the expectation on the second wasn't there because you had to do both for this review. So it was like, no matter what, I have to watch this.
Inside Out 2 was not bad at all, right? Like, I thought that was a good movie.
I don't think I watched that. Yeah. A couple of them that I haven't caught up to. Yeah.
We'll have to do
Yeah.
Incredible.
Yeah, Incredibles 2 I wasn't a huge fan of, but yeah, as compared to the first. But yeah. Okay, I guess that's all the time we have for this particular episode. I think we've covered all there is to discuss about Zootopia / Zootropolis 2. I guess once the third part comes in, if this channel is still alive, we will end up doing that as well. But until then, we will catch you all on our next episode. Take care. See you. Bye bye.